When the world feels like a wild beast ready to devour your peace, where do you run for cover? Psalm 74:19 is the desperate, powerful cry of a soul refusing to be handed over to the enemy. Have you ever felt like your spirit was under siege? There's a raw, ancient prayer for the moments when you feel most vulnerable. Do not deliver the soul of your dove to the wild beasts. You aren't just a face in the crowd. To the God of Israel, you are his turtle dove. Here is why that identity changes the way you pray for protection. Stop asking for permission to be safe and start claiming the protection promised to the humble. Today, we're diving into the warrior's plea of Psalm 74. O deliver not the soul of thy turtle dove unto the multitude of the wicked. Forget not the congregation of thy poor forever. Psalm 74:19. 1. The context of Psalm 74. Psalm 74 is written by Asaph, or one of his descendants, during or after one of Israel's national crises. Most likely historical settings. The Babylonian destruction of Jerusalem in 586 BC, or earlier temple desecration under foreign invasion. Israel's situation in Psalm 74, the temple destroyed, holy things burned, no prophets, enemies mocking God, the people feel abandoned. Psalm 74 is a national lament, crying to God for mercy and remembering his past deliverance. 2. Understanding Psalm 74:19, deliver not the soul of thy turtle dove. The turtle dove symbolizes gentleness, innocence, helplessness, faithfulness, dove's mate for life. Israel, a small, vulnerable nation, the faithful remnant. In Hebrew understanding, the turtle dove became a symbol of God's beloved people, worship and sacrifice, purity and devotion. So Asaph is praying, Lord, do not hand your innocent, faithful people over to destruction. This is a cry of protection, asking God to remember his covenant and rescue his people from the wicked. Forget not the congregation of thy poor forever. This refers not only to financial poverty, but spiritual helplessness, national vulnerability, dependence on God alone. Israel calls themselves your poor, showing humility. 3. Old Testament connections. A. God's people as doves. Hosea 7:11. Ephraim is like a silly dove, easily deceived. Psalm 56:1 has imagery of doves crying for help. Jeremiah 48:28. Moab is compared to a dove fleeing danger. Doves represent vulnerable people crying for deliverance. B. Doves in sacrificial system. The poor used doves instead of lambs. This links Psalm 74:19 to God's mercy for the humble. C. Israel oppressed by enemies. Many Old Testament passages reflect the same prayer. Psalm 79 parallel to Psalm 74. Lamentations 1-5 after Jerusalem's fall. Isaiah 64:9. Be not wroth, neither remember iniquity forever. Psalm 74:19 is part of a long biblical cry, Lord, don't leave your people to be destroyed. 4. New Testament connections. A. The dove as the symbol of the Spirit. Matthew 3:16. The Spirit descends like a dove. This shows innocence, purity, divine approval. God does not abandon what he seals with his Spirit. B. Jesus on God's care for doves, birds. Luke 12:6-7. Are not 5 sparrows sold for 2 farthings? You are of more value. Matthew 10:16. Be harmless as doves. God's people are still symbolically represented as gentle doves under his care. C. The church as God's innocent people. Romans 8:36. Sheep for slaughter. 1 Peter 2:9, chosen, precious. Matthew 5:5, the meek shall inherit the earth. Revelation 12, the faithful remnant pursued by the dragon. The church is the turtle dove of the New Testament, gentle but protected. D. God does not abandon his people. Hebrews 13:5. I will never leave thee nor forsake thee. 2 Timothy 4:17. The Lord stood with me. John 10:28. No one can snatch them out of his hand. Psalm 74:19 finds its fulfillment in God's eternal care for believers. 5. Symbolic teaching. The turtle dove represents God's faithful people, the humble and poor in spirit, those who depend totally on God, the persecuted church, a cry for rescue and remembrance. The wicked multitude represents oppressors, spiritual enemies, nations hostile to God, systems of wickedness. 6. Worldly, practical application. Sometimes life puts us in the position of vulnerability, unfair attack, weakness, helplessness, and we cry like Asaph, Lord, don't deliver me into their hands. God hears the cry of the helpless. He remembers covenant people. He protects those who cannot protect themselves. 7. Summary of the teaching. Psalm 74:19 is a cry of the covenant community asking God not to abandon his faithful, helpless people in the face of enemy destruction. The turtle dove symbolizes innocence, devotion, vulnerability, belovedness. Throughout both testaments, God's people are portrayed as gentle doves in need of divine protection, and God is shown as the one who never forgets, abandons, or forsakes. Subscribe to Hidden Depths of the Bible for short, meaningful Bible explanations. Also, like and share. Shalom.